And students kept asking me, why don't you teach a class? And I said, well, I'm not a teacher here. So, and that's pretty much how my curriculum evolved from that. Evolved into a practicum curriculum. Yes, you study Stanislavski, yes, you study Stella Adler and Strasberg and all the methodologies, but then you have to put it in practice and get on your feet and be filmed incorporating those practices.
Now, you talk about a lot of different kind of genres within this art. With the teachers working together, how important is the teamwork?
Oh, it's essential. It's essential. Teamwork and collaboration is essential. And it's the most supportive environment here. This department is completely student-centric. Everyone from faculty to staff supports the student in their artistic endeavor and their projects, and it's really remarkable. It's really remarkable, and I haven't seen it elsewhere.
And what are you doing now to keep current with the students and keep inspiring them?
Well, I have working professionals that come and visit my classes and talk to the students, and I still work on occasion in the business, so I can bring that experience. And I have a book coming out, Focal Length of Performance, that is basically the culmination of 35 years of professional experience, 25 years in front of the camera, and then 10 years behind the camera. So that is coming out in the spring. So that's, I guess, how I keep current. I also see 3 movies a week so that I can keep current in terms of the different directors. What stories are they telling? Crimson Peak, for example, is, or Ridley Scott's The Martian. So, and also looking at, in terms of framing, editing, cinematography, how does that affect the actor? How are those characterizations? How are the actors nowadays? How is that changing? How is the new technology changing their level of performance?
In Orange County, where do you see the room for growth with Saddleback?
Oh, well, I mean, I'd love to get funding for a huge soundstage here. That would be my dream. Saddleback Production Studios here. If we had the money, we definitely have the talent and the resources, and we also have the technology.
And especially the alumni, the Saddleback alumni.
Yes, who are working on major feature films like the Hunger Games series, so many, Pirates of the Caribbean. So many of our alum are actively working in the industry, and they come back to give back, and which is great for the students. So I think that between our film department, Channel 39, KSBR, I mean, this really could be sort of a studios center for South Orange County.
That's great. One thing I think about Saddleback, as you know, the class sizes are very small. How is that important?
Well, I think it's important because you can give one-on-one attention. And as I said, this department, and also the philosophy of this college, is to be student-centric, that the student comes first, what their needs are, and we're here to try to help them fulfill their potential. So with a smaller class, we can do that. We can actively participate more, give more time, and that's what I think is the advantage of the smaller class here.
And you're able, do you think, easily formulate relationships with your students?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And like 25% of my screen acting students have agents and are in the union, are in SAG-AFTRA now. And 15% have gone on to 4-year schools like Yale, Chapman, UCLA, UC San Diego, which have excellent acting programs. I support this program. And again, if we got a huge donor, that would be great, an endowment of some kind, then it could really be built, because again, there's nothing more exciting as a faculty member than to see the creative artistic vision of a student brought to life. Whether they're actors in it, portraying characters, whether it's an original screenplay, that's what's exciting. I mean, to me, that's what makes the world a better place, is storytelling. There's a lot of diversity here. A lot of diversity. So I have students from Southeast Asia. I have students from the Middle East. So there's a lot of cultural diversity, and which is actually interesting because when they're given an opportunity in like the video production class where they can create or they bring in their own 3-page narrative screenplay, they can create stories that reflect their cultural experience or whether they're assimilating into American culture or it's a personalized view. And so they're given an opportunity to create something like that, even if it's an exercise in class. So it's filmed and you get some insight into how they view the world.
Oh, and people you wouldn't necessarily meet ever.
That's true, yeah. And it actually, what's nice is it sort of skews the view of the students into a global view, and also the universality of all of us as human beings, as artists, that, you know, we're here to share stories of the human condition all over the world. And and in terms of those students that I always consider myself a little bit of a psychic, because I can tell which students are going to go the distance. And then I see a lot of growth from other students who start out, they're not too sure of what they want to do or what they want to pursue, but once they focus on that one thing, whether it's cinematography, whether it's just acting, whether it's directing, you know, I see them transform. And if they have the work ethic and the discipline, as well as the skill set, the possibilities are limitless.
So with work ethic and the discipline, it's okay if you don't know any of this?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's great. What do you want to see in the industry change that you've been able to bring to Saddleback?
Oh, you mean like filming stories that address social needs? Yeah, or social activism? Absolutely. There's lots of things that we could address in terms of identity, self-worth. I saw a play recently, Life Without Parole, about battered women. So there's a lot of stories that we could tell. And there's also a lot of comedy we could bring too. You know, stories where the humor comes out of relationships.
That's true.
But social activism for sure. I mean, this could definitely be a place where, and some students are passionate about that, passionate about those topics. They would like to change the view of the world. They'd like the world to be more compassionate and to care more about others. So
Saddleback is a place.
Yeah, most definitely.
Great. Now, just one more lasting question. Your experience, if you can talk a little bit about it, what, with your acting, what do you love about it? What keeps you waking up every morning and sharing that with your students?
Well, what I love about acting is that it's an actor's job to show the human condition. As an actor, you get to transform yourself and play many different characters. And your character within the story can move an audience member to think about something, to think about how they're, let's say, treating others, or think about what they enjoy about connection in terms of human connection. So what's exciting about acting is that you get to play many different characters and you embody them, and hopefully truthfully in the imaginary given circumstances. But as a teacher, what excites me is to see the evolution of the screen acting students and the directing students in terms of the articulation of their craft. And by practicing it, by doing it, by being pretty much required to do something every single class, I see their growth and development. I mean, I see it in their film work. I see it in the footage. I see when they're really actively listening. I see when they're veiling emotion. That's the most exciting part for me, is to see them own the work, and they're organic in their choices as the character. They're portraying characters that are the antithesis of who they are in real life. And when I can sit back there and watch their scenes and see the character and not see them, I find that to be the greatest reward.
It's exciting. As a teacher, I noticed from my experience with you, you do treat the classroom and the students as professionals.
Which can be good and bad.
But overall, I can respect that. But how come you give so much respect to your students like that?
Well, I don't think you will take chances and be fearless in an environment that is not supportive. You have to create an environment of trust and respect in order for the shy student, the withdrawn student, the self-conscious student to sort of break out of the cocoon or break out of their shell. And so therefore respect is essential. And I'm really respect everyone as a professional ensemble. The only transgression that sort of upsets me is if someone is late or if someone doesn't show up when they're supposed to be there to do a scene with another actor. So if they affect others and they're late, and that distresses me to no end, because to me that's not being professional. But if they're doing the work, the respect is always there. But I don't think you can really grow as an artist if you're not in an environment of respect and trust.
Thank you. Any last words you can give for a student who's unsure if college is for them?
Oh, now that's interesting. That's a good question. Well, I can speak from my own experience in terms of I entered college when I was 15, and then I got offered a professional contract and I dropped out of college. And then I didn't go back to college till I was 40. So I was 40 years old. I went to UCI. They said, get your general requirements out of the way at Saddleback. So I came to Saddleback as a student and I said, boy, is college for me? I wasn't sure because I'd lived a life and I'd worked professionally, and I said, is college for me? But I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great because it opened my mind and my eyes to everything, to rediscovering anything from history to psychology to, physical statistics, mind you, was challenging. But it opens up when you open up your mind, if you allow your mind to be stimulated and you open up your thought process, which is what college does, you can define yourself through what you learn in college. You can become who you are meant to be by going to college. So for the older student, I could say, definitely do it because you'll appreciate it. For the younger student, I would say, don't take it for granted. Definitely do it because it's going to help you to discover what you really want. And then you can focus on what those goals are and go for it. I hope that answers the question.
That was perfect. Is there anything you would like to add?
I don't know. Outside of the fact that education, I think, makes a better world, and I think the arts supports the world and society, and unfortunately we don't get enough funding, and that's regrettable because I think that the arts are the reflection of the human condition, as I've mentioned many times before in this interview. And the storytelling that reflects the diversity of our culture, the diversity within South Orange County and America. All that just makes for a better world.
Of course, I think so.